Good morning and welcome to this week's Headmaster's video diary. It is Friday the 12th of June, and for the first time in a while whilst I'm recording this, it may be possible for you to hear the sound of happy children playing because it is break time and we have a good healthy number of year 6s and year 1s currently running around exhilarated, enjoying the fresh air and the surprising amount of space that they're able to find on the playground at the moment in the absence of all the other year groups here. More on that later. So in the news this week, we've continued to see mass protests and demonstrations, understandably so, in reaction to the untimely death of George Floyd last week, which I talked about at that time. And we have seen in developments the pulling down of historic statues here in the UK, most famously that of Colston in Bristol. We've also seen, sadly, some graffiti on the statue of Winston Churchill, and a debate ensue about whether or not it's right or wrong to remove the statue of Lord Baden-Powell, the founder of the Scouts movement, in Poole. Now, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to these questions, but it is an interesting philosophical debate and one that you may wish to have in your families because it is extremely topical. At what point in time do we decide that the sins of our fathers are guilty of, in their time or in ours? How will we be judged by our future generations? I can think for an instant immediately about climate and our abuse of the environment. Why are we not doing more now to protect the interests of our future generations? How will we be judged, in 40, 50, 100 years' time? These are interesting questions, as I say. No right or wrong answer, but certainly things that you should be thinking about and discussing. Now, in positive news, I am really excited about the return of the Premier League on June the 17th. I think it's Aston Villa against Sheffield United. I must say it's not especially a fixture that would normally get my juices flowing, but I have to say I'm excited for that fixture now in the absence of any competitive sport in a meaningful way for some time. And I'm even more excited that the West Indies Test cricket team have landed safely in this country for the start of a series which will start in July, on the 8th of July. I'm really missing my cricket. So things are starting to move forward in a positive direction, and my message to you this week is really one of positive thinking and mental health and well-being. It's great to have these pupils back in the school at the moment. You will know that we are planning earnestly for year 3, 4 and 5 to return from Monday the 22nd of June in some capacity, yet to be decided later this afternoon when we have an idea of numbers. We hope to have people in most days, probably not all day. It will be absolutely incumbent upon safe space and staff logistics and resources as ever. And I have also written in my newsletter, it is my ambition for every child in this school to have an opportunity to return before the start of the summer holiday. And I say that advisedly. It is an ambition, not a statement of intent. We are unfortunately bound by the government guidance, the legal side of it, and indeed the insurance aspect, because unless we submit documentation to detail exactly how we are going to return pupils to the site and the insurers underwrite it, we simply can't move forward, and this all takes time. It takes time for us to plan, time for us to write, time for them to look at it, time for us to make amendments, and then time for it to be agreed. But we are working incredibly hard to try and give everybody a chance to come back to the school. I hope that on Monday the 22nd of June, we will have offered all pupils up to and including year 6 a chance to be back in school in some capacity. I hope from thereafter that we are going to be able to get year 7 and 8 potentially in for a morning or two before the end of the term. But at the moment, that is a no. We are hopeful that things will change. I believe that they may. And again, subject to us being able to accommodate them, we would like to give them some interface with the staff here before the holiday. and that goes equally for Year 9. But I'm afraid Year 9 is even more thorny because you are very technically a secondary school year group. There is no argument like there is for Year 7 and 8 that there are lots of 13 plus prep schools planning for their return. I have asked a question. I am awaiting an answer from the Secretary of State indirectly via our associations, and as soon as we get the green light, we will make those plans and write to you. So we are working incredibly hard on all of your behalves to try and A, get you thinking positively, and B, to get ourselves thinking positively about a more normal return in September, which I'm increasingly confident will now happen. So, all of which leads me to say that on Monday we have a very important governors meeting. We have now for the better part of 6 months been planning for a potential move to co-education, and the governors will make a historic vote next week on whether or not that is going to occur, including timeframes and potential year groups. So as soon as a decision is ratified by the governors, further to a very, very detailed proposal, input from all stakeholders and an independent educational consultant, we will let you know. But I'd like to think that it's exciting times ahead at Kingswood House for all of us, in a time in which we can take nothing for granted. We have to be prepared to adapt, to move forward bravely into the new world of education as it is seeming. So we will write to you, and the chairman, I'm sure, will have a few words to say on the matter following that meeting one way or the other. This week's dispatches, a lot to get through, so here we go. Well done to Maya and to Jamie in Year 1 and Year 2 for their commendations this week. To Torin for always being punctual to his lessons in Year 3. To Frankie for his art. To Lewis Lockhead for designing manuals for citizenship, one for teams and another for a theme park. To Ryan Lockhead for making a ration book. Cameron Edwards for his fantastic teams manual for citizenship, with a great photo of him holding a manual with a thumbs up pose. To Ben Schoonemore for his poster, Fraser Smith for his olive tree work, Hugo Hawksley for a great manual, and Sebastian Phillips for an amazing drawing of an armoured caterpillar. Seb, I really want to see that. That looks awesome. And indeed to Lewis, Ryan and Fraser as well for completing all of their French work this week in Year 3. So great effort from you boys. In Year 4, Nathaniel has been sewing this week, and he did a fantastic stuffed snowman, which I saw earlier this week, called Snowy. So well done. You've got a Headmaster's Award from Miss Smith for that. Fraser Blythe has worked really hard on his food chains this week, so well done. Ed Bishop in mathematics, and Harrison Wallace for excellent batting skills in Mr. Lawdy's Cricket Challenge. Jamil Hashemi for further musical performances in the form time with violin and piano recitals. You've got a Headmaster's Award from Mrs. Lambert. Well done to George in 4S for a great biography on Gandhi. To Lucas for also your biographical work on Gandhi. And to Barnaby for an excellent flowchart into Year 5. Well done to Alex Wang for all of his work throughout every single subject, especially a cuttlebone fish that you have decorated. Well done, that sounds awesome. To Will Baker in 5C for your creativity in making a lovely gift for your mum. Jack Wrigley for work in RS. Jack Guiney for his commendation in French and also for life cycles in science. And again, Alex Wang for accommodation in French. So good week for you, Alex. Well done. Adam Grattan as well, nominated here by Mrs. Seaver for a delicious ice cream that you made at home for citizenship. Well done. She says, I hope that your family are enjoying a scoop of deliciousness every night. I'm sure that you are. And finally, well done in Year 5 to Saul Silkman for being really highly organised. Saul, that is excellent because I happen to know that has been one of your targets. So well done. Into Year 6, Arlo has been really creative with ideas for citizenship and made a picture of his mum and dad under a rainbow using coins. Well done to Dylan Bishop and Bailey Partridge, who are just generally very cheerful and enthusiastic from Mrs. Dean, to Joseph Huang for great passion to art from Mrs. Matieska, and Amir for great work in English. And Miss Ruitz would just like to say well done to all of Year 6 whom she teaches. You've just been working really well, both at home and at school. Into Year 7, Ben Holmes has been busy completing an online Chelsea football skills course. James Carr has had a great week. He's done really well in the subject enrichment programme and also been nominated for mathematics by Miss Ruitz. Well done to Jean Guo for your work in science, to Matthew and Mikey for your mathematics, Charlie Leonard for also exploring new concepts in your mathematics as well. And into Year 8, Anthony has been busy making a lovely gift for his mum as part of the citizenship programme. James Giles and Pete Duncan have also shown great perseverance, according to Mr. Lordy, over the last few weeks in delivering some great work. And Marcus Glenn for excellent consistency of work, and Theo Venzelar Pelli as well for mathematics. Well done to you. And into the seniors in Year 9, Ewan Walker has achieved full marks on 2 full GCSE history questions, which is fantastic at the start of the course. So, Mr. Rudkin, I am sure that you must be delighted with that. Well done, Ewan. Jack Beckman, well, what a week you've had. Again, full marks here for 2 GCSE history questions, and these boys have only just started their options, of course, so still time to hone their skills. And Jack, of course, deserves a very special mention because last night he was on TV on Ross Kemp speaking most eloquently and with great composure about his father who has dementia. Jack, I must say I commend you. You are a wonderful ambassador for our values. I thought you were incredibly natural on television. I can't think where you get that from. You've got a big future ahead of you and we're all incredibly proud of you. Jack, well done. Max Mitchell-Nesbert, well done for your work on Macbeth from Mr. March. Ewan again, Max again, and Daniel Idris for super work in computer science from Mrs. Webb. Eddie Fisher for perseverance from Miss Ruitz with his mathematics. And into Year 10, Jack Leonard producing some outstanding work in science. And Hassan also has been nominated for great work in science by Miss Black. Theo Byrne, well done to you for your work in maths. Michael Cleaver, again, improved effort in maths and for starting to go the extra mile to ask for help, which is good to hear from Mr. Sukadeo. Mrs. Webb would like to nominate So-Yoon Lee, Alex Homeward, Ollie Phillips and Michael Cleaver for your work on algorithms. James Totham and Eddie Monk have done very well in discussion work this week. And Jack Leonard and Freddie Harrison have just been generally very chatty and cheerful in form period this week, starting the day, putting a smile on everyone's face. So that concludes the dispatches for this week. It's incredibly busy here. I'm sure it's busy and stressful at home, but please remember, boys, whether you're at home or at school, you are a core, integral part of the Kingswood House community. We have not forgotten you. We do not want you to forget us. If it is at all practically possible, we will get everybody into the school at some point this term. I can make no promises, but what I can say is we are working incredibly hard within very difficult constraints, working with any number of different agencies and governments and insurers to try and make it possible. And if it is, we will do so. Have a great weekend.